Good morning, everyone. My name is Tim Lydon. I am the Vice President and Operating Partner of ProFish in Washington, D.C. First of all, we'd like to thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day today to watch our video as we welcome you into our warehouse in Northeast Washington, D.C. One of the things that we're going to be attempting to do as we continue offering ProFish wholesale to the public is bringing you into our warehouse so you can learn a little bit about what ProFish does behind the scenes and also the fish that we offer to you weekly. As you can tell by the offerings that we make week in and week out, we have a significant variety of salmon to offer you on a week in, week out basis. One salmon that we want to highlight this week and we are going to make available through our wholesale to the public offerings is our Faroe Island salmon. Faroe Island salmon is a salmon that we import twice a week, and for those who are not familiar with the geography, the Faroe Islands are a group of islands that are located between Iceland and Norway in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, a few of the characteristics about the Faroe Island salmon that we find is the perfect story for what we're attempting to accomplish with our wholesale to the public is that Faroe Island preaches fish welfare. Unlike some of the countries that mass produce salmon, they attempt to keep the pen densities at a low so that fish are grown in a more sustainable, more controlled, safer environment. This, at the end of the day, by having less density in the pens, leads to a higher quality fish that is being harvested. Again, they're not harvesting the largest number of salmon in the world, but the salmon that they are harvesting are certainly raised in one of the most perfect environments in the salmon industry. So what I'm going to show you now is some of the things that we look for when we buy salmon. This is the size of the salmon that we are using to cut the portions of the Faroe Island salmon this week. Everything that we buy and process for our wholesale to the public is cut from whole fish. So when we look at this animal, we look at a couple things. One is we want to look at the eyes and look at the clarity of the eyes. Then we look at the gills, and as you can see, the gills have a nice, rich red color. That is the sign of a nice, fresh fish that has been harvested relatively recently. And then we just do an evaluation of the fish. It has a nice, healthy slime, that we call it a slime across the fish, and the scales have not come off the fish, which means, again, it is not an old fish, it's a new fish. So these are some of the things that behind the scenes we're looking for as we attempt to provide you, the consumer, the freshest fish that we have to offer. Now we're going to have Alfonso, our fish cutter. He's going to show you how we cut a fish at ProFish. Alfonso? One thing Alfonso will do is any fish that Alfonso cuts, or any fish that any of our cutters cut, is they will do an evaluation of the fish as well. They'll look at the fish, making sure that everything is the freshest possible, and making sure, again, that that's the type of product that we would want to put on our dining room table. Because at the end of the day, the fish that we want to put on your dining room table is the same fish that we want to eat in our own homes. So again, as you watch Alfonso, clearly that process took him very few minutes, and as you can tell by the skill and professionalism he has, all of the meat is coming off of the carcass. Then what Alfonso will do before we cut the portions is he will also pull the pin bones. Many of you may not know, but on a salmon, there is a line of bones that runs right down the center of the fillet. So we take the time to pull the bones because the last thing we want you to do, and the last thing I want to do, is ever eat a piece of salmon with a bone inside it. So as you watch Alfonso, he does everything by hand, and he'll pull it with a pair of tweezers to get every bone out. Now the next step in Alfonso's butchering of the fish is he's going to be trimming off the belly side of the fish to make sure that all the skin on the inside of the salmon is removed prior to getting to you. So he's going to trim that back, and then he's going to cut that piece. And again, this is a waste that you will not see in your portions you get from ProFish. And then he takes the skin off of the fillet. As you can see, all of the meat stays on the fish and nothing stays on the skin. Now the final part of the equation that Alfonso will do is he will cut his portions that are cut for you. One thing that we provide in our wholesale to the public is every fish portion that is cut either the night before or the day that the order is packed. The reason being, we again want to make sure that the freshest cuts possible are showing up on your dinner table. So as you can see, Alfonso has cut a nice, approximately 1 pound piece, which should be identical or similar to any portion that you receive from ProFish. Again, thank you, Alfonso. The purpose of this is, one, we want to welcome you into our facility. We want you to see the story behind the box of fish that you pick up. As we move forward with the video programs that we're going to be putting together, we're going to highlight various fish week in and week out to show you our versatility, to give you a little bit of the education behind where the fish comes from, to give you a little bit of insight on why we pick the fish that we pick to put on the captain's list every week. We hope that you find this information helpful. We hope you find it insightful. And if you have any suggestions, hopefully you'll share that with us. If you have any things that you would like to see us bring in, please reach out to Charles in customer service. We would like to provide more options for you as we move this program forward. Hopefully you find this beneficial to you, and thank you again for taking time to watch the video today.